Hello friends, SentinalhMC here, and today I'd like to talk to you about a game called Planet Nomads. So I wanted to talk about this a while back, but I never got around to it, but here we go. Planet Nomads is a game on Kickstarter, and it's basically like Space Engineers, but they've released this nifty little editor. The game is not out, it's not available yet, but you can download this editor for free, which is basically their building system, which lets you, build vehicles and bases and see what it's about. So what I wanted to do today is check out these pre-made ones, and then we'll try our hand at building something in the Planet Nomads builder. There's no sound in the builder, so I'll have to edit in some music. So this is a little buggy by Vasek Ruzicka. If we click build, we can go and check it out. So this is what the editor looks like. It gives us some controls on the left, Q and E for previous and next item. Yeah, so we can do that to quickly go through our hotbar here, and then we can place items and erase items like you would expect. The cool thing is that we can actually rotate these items with our mouse wheel. That's pretty neat. Really applies mainly to things like this, that matters which direction it's pointed. So I kind of like that. So it rotates. The blocks appear to automatically snap to the axis based on what part of them is touching the other block, which is neat. And then you can rotate them within that axis. So that's kind of cool. And then we can hide the GUI apparently with the I button. That's neat. And then we can change the axis of these blocks that we're rotating these blocks on by pressing X. By default, it seems to snap to whichever one you have it against, but of course you have 3 different axes and you can change it with X. Cool. So you can turn our cursor on and off with the Enter key for this editor, and then we have undo and redo. So the graphics you can see here are not representative of the final game, but this is a biome from the game. In fact, if we go and hit change terrain, we can see another one of the biomes that the game is going to have. This sort of sandy, rocky biome. That's kind of neat. I personally think I like this biome better. So yeah, we got this little buggy. We can't drive it around. This is just an editor, but it's got some guns, and the guns look really cool. I really like the aesthetic of this game. It's sort of slightly grimy. There's like scratches around the various bits of metal armor. Well, you can see little rivet holes. I think that's what those are. And then we got our big tires and our suspensions and some sort of power conduit. I'm not sure if those power conduits do anything or if they're just decorative. Here's a cockpit, which we can look inside. This cockpit looks really nice. I mean, look at all this stuff in this cockpit. I hope this is all I hope this all does something in the actual game, because that'd be super sweet. So we got the cool looking cockpit, and if we come back and just sort of look in here, we can see there's like these little tanks, and then there's like these pipes connected and to these other tanks, and then those are connected to some other things. So Planet Nomads is looking to going to have a system whereby you need to connect various things together by using little pipes, which is cool. So yeah, it's a neat little buggy. So fast, speedy little buggy. So let's go back and we'll check out the next vehicle that they've got here in the editor, which is called the Berserker, which is like a medium-sized truck, it says, by Duarte Framos. I definitely guarantee I didn't pronounce that name properly. This thing looks a bit funny to me, but the big thing you'll notice about it, other than these actual like emplacement turrets, automatic like turrets stuck to a vehicle, is that you can go inside. So we got a door, and we can go inside here, and there's an interior, and there's some machines here. I don't know what they do, what they're gonna do, but there's like this door back here, which is apparently it's just a normal door actually. I thought it was gonna be like a landing door, but like a ramp, but no, it's just a door. And then there's another door there, and then here's our control chair. So there's not like a big cockpit like the other thing, but there's a chair there. So it does feel like Space Engineers, small ships gone large, if you've seen that. The blocks are all the same size, but you can build these sort of much larger structures that you can go inside. So this is like It's got big wheels. It's got a lot of guns, especially on the. I think these are guns. I don't know what those are. We could check though. If we press H, we can go in and see what the weapons are. Missile turrets, machine gun turrets, missile launchers. Yeah, these things at the front here are not guns. I don't know what they are, but you'd think there'd be guns here, but no, the guns are up there and over there. It's like one of every gun on this thing. It looks kind of neat. I think it's kind of cool. I don't know what these little tanks are either. Let's hit J and see what those tanks are. It's utility stuff. So we got big containers. We got containers. We got... Oh, it's just called tank. It's a tank for, I don't know what, a pipe block. Okay, that's really good because you've got pass-through blocks for pipes. X pipe, T pipe, L pipe, pipes. And then they got conveyors. So yeah, and there's a radar, refineries, 3D printers, an excavator. Oh, I want to click on that and see what that looks like. Oh, it's cool. Excavator wheel. So a lot of cool mining machines you can build in this game. Let's go out and we'll check the last vehicle, which is a tank. It says large-scale tank, and it's not kidding. This thing's enormous. Now here's the thing. This track piece right here, it's all one block. So you can get very large blocks in this game. Let's see if we can find it. If we hit K, go to mobility. There, we got massive tracks, medium tracks, and small tracks. Well, this is definitely massive tracks. Look at this. Look at the massive tracks. And so, yeah, that's where you can see where that one came from. So you can build all this kind of cool stuff. And that goes all the way down to small tracks, which, as we can see, are significantly smaller. And even propeller blades, so you can maybe make some hovering things, and thrusters, and these are the track wheels. Very cool, very cool. Lots of cool options. So right off the bat in this game, you'll be able to build tanks, which I know a lot of people are really going to like because tanks are awesome. So let's go ahead and check out the interior of this tank, because you can go inside, obviously. If we come back here, there's like a ladder you can use, and then a door. We can just go through it. And you can see that there's walls that are like super thin, but then there's blocks that are nice and thick. So we're going to have both of those in Planet Nomads, which is going to be great for things like what they did here. And for like right here, where it kind of looks like cover in a third-person cover-based shooter. There's nothing up in the turret in this build, but we can see there's like whatever these blocks are. Oh, I pushed. Oh, I painted it. Okay, so you can paint blocks with middle mouse click, and then I imagine these are the control stations for this thing. Are these engines? Let's go to G and hit energy. Electric boxes, wiring. So I guess the wiring actually does do stuff. So we got batteries, and then yeah, these are generators, and then you can also get solar panels and a solar torch, so a light that works on solar power. Sweet, that's pretty cool. So I like the tank. It's very, very large. Let's go back and let's check out the last thing that's in the editor, which is the outpost. This one, I'm really interested in the outpost because, of course, base building is... I'm really, in most things, better at building structures than building vehicles. So here we got like a little base, a little outpost, and you can see we've got these little slab blocks, these little really thin blocks that we could use for a ground. I think that's probably a path. It's probably an L in basic blocks. No, it's actually not. Wow, they've got inward curves, they've got outward curved corners, and ramps, and cut corners, and block skeletons. That's cool. We saw one of those on the buggy, so you could still see the interior bits. I wonder where... Let's see. Check out interior. Maybe it's an interior block. There's a wall, and there's window ramps. That's cool. Fence corners, fences, a stasis chamber. Maybe this is wall, and it's just been rotated. Let's see. So yeah, it's the same thickness, but it has a different pattern to it. I wonder if it's in here. There it is, the floor. Of course, it's floor. So you could use this inside of a thing, or you can use this. Let's change the axis, and then we could rotate it and get it in place. There you go. See. So you could use floor for inside of buildings, which they do. See, there's floor there. Or for paths outside, which is kind of cool. So over here we have, again, some... I thought these were generators earlier. But these aren't actually the generator blocks. The generator blocks are these. So these are batteries. What are these these things in the middle here? Let's hit. Maybe these are the refineries. Let's rotate it. Does that look like that? It does. That's a refinery. Okay. So you're gonna have to connect things to the refinery via conveyors. If we look here, this is cool because it's giving us a look at what this game is going to be like. See, these conveyors are supposed to connect to this refinery, but they don't actually connect because this is just the editor, and none of these things actually do anything. But you can see these conveyors are supposed to be connected to the refinery and then connected to. I imagine this is the 3D printer. We can go check that out actually. Let's hit J and grab a 3D printer. Is that the 3D printer? Let's change the axis and get this rotated properly. Yeah, that's the 3D printer, alright. It's just been painted. So that's cool. Here's a solar torch. I don't know what this is, but it looks cool. It's probably just showing off the different kind of blocks you can place. Look at that. You can get some really neat looking things with these little thin blocks. So if you look around this base, there's like a little... these are batteries. So this is like a power storage room, but then these are like little tiny things. Are those the compact 3D printers? Could be. These blocks here remind me heavily of the interior blocks from Space Engineers. There's a ladder to get on the roof because there's solar panels up there. Batteries here with this turret, machine gun turret, very cool. This room doesn't have anything in it, so you could put whatever you wanted in there. I like these design here on the side of these little flaps. Because you have access to these little flaps, you can make things look kind of neat like that. This little room also has some batteries in it, a control stand for stuff. This is the main building, and we can see another, that's the refinery, connected via conveyors. And I imagine there's going to be like a conveyor pass-through block. And this just sort of stops right there. I don't know why it's on that side of the wall. Then over here we've got some more... those are generators and connected by pipes to these tanks. So I imagine you're gonna whatever kind of fuel that these things run on go in these tanks. And then we've got these electric conduits that are going from the generators and to other things. I see no word yet on how any of these things are going to function in game. So we don't know if you have to use these things to connect all the way over to stuff that you want to power or not. So down here there's some more of these little blocks and some more conveyors, and here's the stairs. I think the stairs are really neat because they got the cool looking stair texture, but then if you place another slope underneath, and you get a really nice looking, really thin stair, not a thick one. So these are just one block thick. And then we get up here and we can see the floor for the second level, extremely thin. So because you got these little thin blocks, you know, and you're not having to use an entire thick block, you can have higher ceilings without making the building bigger, which is nice. I like this height for the ceilings. It looks like the doors are going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks tall, so it looks like an ideal ceiling height is going to be having 5 blocks and then a ceiling or floor. That just looks like what it's going to be to me. See, down here, that's what they did. Oh, there's some blocks missing there. Is that the door, then another block, and then the floor. So I think that's going to be the ideal ceiling height. It feels good. To me, it feels real good. Really good height. So you got some more stuff here. It's another refinery. I think they're just using them to fill in the space and make it look cool. Some batteries, a big missile turret. Looking cool. And we got this little room up here. That's kind of neat. I like all the stuff that you got, the designs. Using these skeletal blocks as support struts. Definitely going to be doing that a lot. They did that at the bottom of each of these buildings too, lifting them off the ground. I don't know if that's going to be important that you lift them off the ground for the actual game, but who knows. Big ladder here connected to skeletal blocks. That looks really cool, rather than just having a naked ladder sitting around. And it looks like when the ladder is placed up against a block, it forms an automatic little connection to it. But the parts of the ladder that aren't on a block don't have that. and then at the very top it curves inward. Is it under mobility or is it under utility? Basic, interior blocks. How do you build a ladder? There's the ladder top. Okay, so ladder with clamps is a separate block. Alright, it would be cool if it did that dynamically, but ladder with clamps is a separate block. Then you've got ladder, then you've got the ladder top, which has the little hooks on it. That's cool. Tube lights. I want to see that tube light. What does it look like? Ooh, that's cool. That's a nice little light. Yeah, look at this. Let's actually get this up against the wall. Look at that. I like it. And I'll turn it sideways. Yeah, I like these tube lights. I'm gonna put some down. They connect together really well. Oops. I like it. Here's another one of these control consoles. I imagine your character's gonna be somewhere around this tall, I think. So it's like a little lookout point. Very neat. So you can see very cool stuff. And Planet Nomads really reminds me of. There's another game on Steam. It's called Farlight Explorers, and Farlight Explorers does this same thing with having conduits and stuff you got to plug together. But Farlight Explorers goes like the Factorio route, where you have conveyor belts and machines and robotic arms. This one looks to be using these conduits to plug stuff together, and then I really like it. That's cool. So let's go back to our main menu here, and let's try and build our own thing. I feel like building some sort of mining machine, maybe. Let's go to mobility and see what we got. Rover tires, big tires, small tires, axles for the tires. These are steering axles. Tracks. Let's make a tracked vehicle. Let's make a very small. Let's make a small tracked vehicle. It looks like we're going to have to lift this up a bit by using a different block. Let's go to our basic blocks and grab the armor block back. Alright, let's put an armor block there. Now we can go back to our mobility. Let's actually go to slot number 9. Let's grab our small tracks. And so we'll just place these small tracks down. I don't want them digging into the ground, so I lifted them up a little bit. I don't know if this game's going to have symmetry toggles, but it'd be cool if it did. So we got like our little tracks, and then I don't know what we're going to have connected to our tracks. Probably axles of some description. Small axles, maybe? Maybe? I don't know. That looks good. Put one there. Put one on each of these, maybe? Would we rotate these upwards to place them? I don't know. Let's do it. Because we're crazy. Yeah, I don't know how you build these things. I'm just sort of slapping blocks together. But you can kind of get the idea. I want to go back and check out that that digger that they had. Yeah, it's good. It would take me way too long to build something that actually works in this game. But we got drills that look that look a lot like the large ship drills from Space Engineers. That's kind of neat. But I'm really interested. I really like this this excavator. Ooh, that looks cool. I can imagine. Here's what I do: just at the front of the vehicle, just stack a whole bunch of these things. Have a big old grindy thing right in the front. Sweet. I might take some time to actually build a vehicle at some point here, but I just wanted to give you a look at this and kind of show you the things that you'll be able to build in this game. There's not a whole lot. I imagine there's a lot more in the actual game than what's being shown in this editor, because again, this is just like a little preview thing to whet your appetite and to get you familiar with their building system, which is very simple. I think the building system. Anyone who's played Minecraft, or let's check out the stasis chamber. Anyone who's played Minecraft and any other of the big building games on the market is going to feel right at home in Planet Nomads. And a stasis chamber, like a bed. Maybe it's like the cryopods in Space Engineers. Go in one when you log out. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to end this video by playing the trailer for Planet Nomads. The game is on Kickstarter, and there will be a link in the description to the Kickstarter. Please go and help them out. They have a little while yet left to go, but they also are 2/3 of the way to their goal. So if you like the looks of Planet Nomads, if you like the looks of this editor, you're going to like the look, and you like to look at the trailer that I'm going to play for you if you haven't seen it already, please go over to their Kickstarter and help them out, because they're getting real close, and I'd really like to see this game come out because I really like to play it. So, I'm SentinalH, and I'm signing out.
Dehydration level critical. Administering nutrient solution. Dehydration level normal. Warning: alien life form detected. Access denied. Access granted. Adrenaline shot administered. Metal cutter acquired. Radiation level critical. Extreme temperature warning. VS-47 escape module identified. Possible survivors.